Welcome to the Upside Podcast, powered by Upside Global and hosted by Julian Blinn, founder and CEO of Upside Global. The Upside Podcast is listened to weekly by over 6,000 sports and tech executives from all sports leagues and teams in the United States and around the world. Julian has been developing technologies for professional sports teams for over 10 years and has worked for major tech companies along with sports tech startups. In each episode, Julian interviews global leaders in sports to share knowledge on emerging technology in the sports industry and how these technologies can help improve the performance of individuals and organizations, both on and off the playing field. And now here's your host, Julian Blinn.
So today we have the honor of interviewing Jeff Ruiz, the Senior Director of Rehab and Athletic Performance for the Miami Heat, an NBA team. So Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Julian. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you on the show. So for those who don't know you, right, because you have an audience of teams and startups and so on, can you tell me about your background?
Yeah, so my background is kind of, let's say, mixed. I have a couple different avenues of where I started, and I'm lucky to be at where I'm at today. So I started in undergrad with an undergrad degree in exercise physiology or kinesiology, and I double majored in psychology.
Yeah.
And through that, I wasn't sure if I was going to go down the route of, sports physical therapy, strength and conditioning, or neuropsychology. So I was doing a lot of different internships, but I knew that for the most part, I wanted to, try to work in the sports realm. And with that, then I was about to go to grad school for strength and conditioning, but I ended up going into physical therapy at University of Miami.
Yeah.
Throughout my time at University of Miami, I went and I was interning in the weight room as well as the training room at the University of Miami Department of Athletics. And it was tremendous. My mentor, Dr. Louis Fagenbaum, he allowed me to go ahead and have quite a presence there. So I started that from basically my first year. And after that, like it kind of transpired into where I did an orthopedic residency, as well as also then a part-time job there in athletics. And with part-time, it was just making sure that I did a part-time in the clinic, and then had over probably 80 hours there. So basically, when I started, I was working in University of Miami for quite some time. I ended up getting a full-time job there as a physical therapist, and then an assistant strength coach with track and field, because I worked with track and field as well as diving a lot, and obviously football too, and some women's basketball. And with that, it transpired to where I was a director of rehab at University of Miami for a little while. And then I would say it was 2021. In 2021, I had the ability to be called up, or I got called up by the Washington Commanders. Yeah. And I started working up there for a few years, and I worked as a director of rehab over there. And the NFL was tremendous. It was definitely something that was a change of speed coming from college for so many years, because I was in the college setting for about, I think it was, including internships, it had been probably about 9 years or so.
Okay.
But yeah. And then I spent 3 years in the NFL, and just about 3 years, because I ended up leaving halfway through the third season to come down to the Miami Heat.
So anyway, so when did you join the Miami Heat then?
So I joined the Miami Heat in 2023. Yeah, okay. 2023, 2024. Honestly, 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell me a bit more about your role with the Miami Heat as a senior director of rehab and athletic performance?
Yeah. So basically, what I do is I work across several different departments, and it's a dream job. I work with amazing people, and people that have helped build such an amazing platform over there, and they've just entrusted me with a couple different roles to try to help facilitate. So with being the director of rehab, primarily I have to make sure that anybody that's hurt or is going through a terrible time of rehab, that I have to make sure that the coordinating of care across the groups and implementing certain strategies is my primary role. But then with that as well, I was asked to be working across the strength staff as well. So I work on the strength and conditioning staff as well, with uh, basically the role of doing the majority of the sports science. So like the load management, the tracking, et cetera, like that. And then I also work with high risk players too. So yeah, it's just kind of it's an interesting role. I had a history of strength and conditioning as well,
Yeah.
and just kind of the way that it's transpired has been uh, ideal for me. I've loved it, and we're really growing a lot for
And
sure.
congrats. And I think you just got a promotion, right? So
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. So what is your approach towards training, strength and conditioning, which also you involved, obviously rehabilitation and also innovation, right? Because that's as you oversee sports science, that's key, right, for you, right? Innovation.
Yeah, so I think my my main my main approach is collaboration.
Yeah.
We're gonna get everybody to collaborate together, and I think that's the strength of what I do, is because I lean on such a good village. Like
Mhm.
I work with several different departments, not just strength and conditioning or uh, rehab or athletic training. It's also dietetics, analytics, and what we try to facilitate is just a comprehensive care, a comprehensive point of attack. And my overall methodology past just the vague concept of collaboration is probably making sure that we can work as hard as possible,
Mhm.
but as smart as possible as well. So uh, towards the avenue of innovation, just making sure that we're checking all the boxes, like in the
Mhm.
sense that all the boxes that we can all kind of get together and think of, whether that means that we're looking at stuff biomechanically, physiologically, as well as like how hard of a load everything is going towards,
Mhm.
and then recognizing where we can go ahead and pull things back or push things forward. Is It's all due to that collaboration and that
Yeah.
constant communication across staffs. I think the communication across the board is my favorite piece of everything, to be very honest.
And honestly, I mean, I think that's absolutely key. I think you're spot on because I see sometimes team across the NBA, the NFL, whatever league they have great technology, but the problem is they don't collaborate as much. Everything is kind of silo, and sometimes they don't quite honestly know why they even have some technology. They don't even know. And being on a road trip sometime when life, it's crazy busy, you don't have time to sit down and really look at what's going on. But like I said, I think sometimes the communication is not optimal, and it's not, in technology, right? It's great to have technology, but if you don't communicate with other people on what's the impact of that technology, then it's kind of counterproductive, right?
100%. Because if the collaboration is weak, then there's definitely spots to where you can break stuff down a lot easier, and it's not going to work. And I think that's been the blessing of where I'm at, because everybody is such a tight unit, and
Hmm.
I work with such amazing people that it's really helped facilitate what I think we are trying to do.
Yeah, that's great. Now, as far as technology, you personally, what are your preferred technology and why?
Oh man. All
One
right. So
question.
yeah. So from technology perspective, if you ask me what was my one thing that I would take
Yeah.
from some place, it would probably be like a barbell. I would say something like,
Really?
yeah. But no, I mean, in all honesty, no, it's definitely whether it's an IMU or an LPS or GPS tracking system, that would
Yeah.
probably be my biggest takeaway. I love force plates and I love different things. I actually studied that, but it's just when you're able to actually monitor something pretty directly, and specifically if it's even live, it allows you to have a different lens of the event that's going on, in my opinion. And then you can actually track to see if certain KPIs are actually getting hit, or if there are decrements in performance, and really if people are at risk, a lot easier, which in my opinion, I feel is you get snapshots of it with other pieces of technology, sort of, but when you have something like that, it can be a comprehensive kind of glue between everything, and then it can help facilitate the communication and the breakdown between coaches as well as strength staff, training staff, nutrition, everything like that, so everybody has kind of a platform or an understanding of what just transpired.
I mean, you mentioned force plates, right? I mean, force plates are one of some of the most common technology used by, for example, in the NBA. I mean,
Yep.
if you don't have force plates as an NBA team, I'd be shocked if you don't have it.
Yeah,
It's simple, but it's essential for any NBA team, any program,
100%.
right?
100%.
So, but I was gonna say, just give me 1 second here. My screen disappeared. Hold on.
No problem.
All right. So now, how do you see the future of rehab evolving, right, in the coming years, and even performance, because you're doing both, right? How do you
Yeah.
see the future evolving from a team perspective?
So I think, I mean, we're in a very interesting era, and I think where we would be looking at everything 10 years from now, it's
Yeah.
going to be, you will see probably a rapid and massive shift into technology. In all honesty, like I think obviously the hot item, everything is AI, and but I think the ability to personalize and build out specific AIs and machine learning models, everything like that, is probably going to be a huge piece for the future. And specifically with rehab, because with recognizing the ability and the kind of the intricacies of like having an AI system or something like that, I think it'll allow you to go ahead and input what you feel is probably the most pertinent with certain people and certain cases or rehabs. And it might be able to go ahead and make sure certain details that sometimes people might forget or overlook, something like that. It might serve as a reminder constantly through something that's already automated and through has gathered a lot of stuff from a data set that is extremely robust. So I think it'll take some time, but it's going to, I think down the road, it could be very helpful. Now, will it be providing the care? No, not necessarily. So that's specifically more with rehab. And then I think that it can actually tap into performance as well, way almost easier to a certain degree. Not performance to optimize it necessarily, but to flag decrements of performance, et cetera, which certain things are already coming about. But I think that the reason why it might even be harder with rehabs are because there's something of the pathology that's going on. There's some type of issue that's coming out about, and obviously everybody's different. If you're looking at it from a macro level for performance, I think that could be extremely helpful. Probably very soon. I know that there's obviously various models already being implemented now, and if you're not exploring it, then you're behind. And,
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, for example, some companies working on, and that's been talked about for 10 years already, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like 10 years ago, there were some companies in the AMS space were saying, hey, we can predict injuries. Well, guess what? Team said, there's no way you can predict injuries. You just can't. But then they said, well, we can help reduce injuries, right? So that's when they kind of changed their narrative. But I do think that, so I talked to some companies who are like, look, we can predict injury real time. Okay, great. The challenge is that, okay, let's say you had a head of performance, you're going to go to your head coach, fourth quarter, you got your best player on the court, the AI tells you your best player is going to get hurt. Okay, you go to your head coach, right? Is he going to listen to you and pull out the player? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think that's where the human aspect will always trump what there might be available in the AI space, at least as in my realm right now, because there's just so many variables. It's just like it's any piece of science. Science has its flaws and has its has its benefits, et cetera, but it's a growing process and you always have to constantly analyze it. And I think that with AI, it'll be a big learning tool. And I think people that rely too heavily on it will probably not succeed. And I think people that don't utilize it at all will probably be behind, you know? And I think it's going to be a management and kind of teetering back and forth with how much you need to implement it and how much you need to be cautious of, you know, some of maybe misinformation or bad data that it could provide.
But you know, we wrote a piece about how AI can not replace practitioner, but enhance what you do.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a huge time saver to be more productive and take care of the players. You know what I mean? So I think that's a big benefit. Now, as far as, like you said, replacing a practitioner, no way, right? You know, I've seen like ChatGPT-4. I was watching a video interview, and then they did a comparison between a doctor and ChatGPT. ChatGPT was more accurate in diagnostic, believe it or not, of a patient, you know, the diagnostic. So, but again, you can't just take out the human element out of the equation. You just can't. Right? It's crazy otherwise. If you do it, it's like, you know, what if the AI is wrong, right? So then what? Usually liability, right? So
yeah, we don't live in a binary world, and it's not that simple. And there's a lot of different things that come into play. So.
For sure. Now, last question is, now, if you could build any technology that you want, you got unlimited resources, money, whatever it is, what would you build and why in your ideal world?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it would be coming down the route of what we were talking about, a very comprehensive machine learning model that helps facilitate an AI piece that is going to help kind of gather everybody together. And why I say that, it would be like a multi-headed piece that can go ahead and manage various different departments and allow people to be having a much easier workflow by flagging them for something that might be missing, something that might be needed to be replaced, something like a reminder system, as well as also making it as intricate as you know, looking at when somebody is having a slight decrement in performance. Now, a lot of this stuff is very much on the horizon, and I believe it's probably readily available for a lot of different institutions and teams. But I think that it's an ongoing process, and like it personally, as of right now, I haven't explored something to where it's that intricate and that reliable just yet.
It's not completely seamless, what you're saying.
Exactly, it is not seamless. And something that would just kind of be like a net to overseeing various departments. And now everybody has their AMSs that they use, and everybody has their own custom built things, and it almost acts as something similar. However, I think if you had some type of you know, artificial intelligence or something of that sort that would help just make it a little bit more seamless, I guess, is what I would say is probably going to give everybody the most bang for their buck and free up their time to provide care and work on the things that need to be worked on.
And that's probably, it's always the same thing, like, how do you make everything work seamlessly together, right?
Exactly.
And that's probably the best. That's not necessarily technology, but it's more like innovation around processes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, but look, we are at the end of the podcast, but I wanted to thank you for your time today, and good luck with the season, because I know it's starting next week, I think.
Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it, Julian. It's great to have been on here, and it's an honor to always talk with you. So
you're welcome. Thank you. No problem.
Thank you for listening. To access past episodes and other research, articles, and analysis of sports technology, please visit our website, theupside.us. Subscribe to the Upside newsletter and receive full access to our sports tech business letter and website. Royalty-free music is provided by ibaudio.com. The Upside podcast provides timely insights and interviews with global leaders in sports technology. Until next time, keep looking to the upside.